Welcome, football fans, to another episode of the Blitz brought to you by Game Changers. This is episode 20. Crazy. Doesn't seem like we've gone through 20 episodes already. But I'm your host, Big C. Y'all know the co-host, the cuzzo, Mike Jones. What up, Mikey?
Hey man, what's up? How you doing? Are you doing?
It's a chilly Friday. Looking forward to this weekend's slate of games. We had a great game last night. And looking forward to this fight tonight. I'm still not sure if it's real, if it's rigged, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like anything with Jake Paul, there's some funny business. The fact that there's even a chance that he's getting in the ring with Mike Tyson and people think that he has a chance to win, regardless if Mike Tyson's 58 years old or not. It's Mike fucking Tyson. Excuse my language, folks. But it's Mike effing Tyson.
I mean, it's not Mike Tyson. It's Iron Mike Tyson, like Captain of Crazy, the scariest dude that you'd ever want to bump into. So,
yeah, you definitely don't want to meet him in a back alley. That's for sure.
He'll eat your children. His words, not mine.
Hey, I know a lot of girls that have ate some children.
I like it.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, I don't know how to feel about that game about the fight. I hope that they want to be fake with it because it just takes away the integrity of the sport. And I would hope Mike Tyson won't have anything to do with that. But, I mean, tens of millions of dollars are at stake. So who knows what somebody will do for that amount of money.
I don't know if a guy like Mike Tyson's going to want to lose, though. I mean, let's be real.
I agree. I was telling my wife earlier, I don't think that he would have sat there and gotten the shape that he's in if he was just going to take a dive. You know what I mean? He could have took a dive being overweight, out of shape, not training hard. So I guess we shall see. Regardless, if Jake Paul wins, they're going to say that it was predetermined, and if you know what I mean, and that Mike Tyson was 58 years old and this and that. So I don't see that Jake Paul has very much to gain besides $20 million. I mean, I guess that's a lot to gain, though.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Money's a funny thing. It definitely makes you question if it's a money grab or if there's any legitimacy behind him. I haven't really followed Jake Paul in any of his fights just because of that. I don't. He's a YouTube star, you know. Do you trust it? Do you trust that? Do you not trust that? You know, a guy like Floyd Mayweather, you know that he might be making money grabs, but dude can fight. You know what I mean? So with Jake Paul, I'm just, you know, he's fighting UFC guys. He's fighting it just
former basketball players.
Yeah, we're talking opposite spectrums of the sport, even with MMA. Like, you know, these guys want to sit there and they get tired, they want to grab you or something, and that's what they're used to. Boxing it's all that endurance. So anybody training for boxing is going to have that advantage, at least going the distance, you know. So
yeah, I watched a little bit of the Nate Diaz Jake Paul fight earlier, and Nate Diaz almost went in for a double leg takedown. So it's definitely hard for them to get past that. They're just so used to doing the same thing for so long. But anyway, got a good show planned for you tonight. You know, Friday nights, game picks, and the review of Thursday night football.
Woo!
Last night's game was our right game, I guess. But I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed. I thought it was going to be more of a shootout from this young up-and-coming quarterback against the team that's been running this division for the last few years. And I feel like it I feel like I was let down for some reason. Jane Daniels has had a fantastic rookie season. He's got these Washington Commanders playing at a level that nobody thought Washington be have the record that they have right now, fighting for a division title. Nobody thought that. I mean, people thought Philly and Dallas was going to be up there. Well, he's got them playing at a high level, but I do feel like Jane Daniels is kind of leveled out a little bit and isn't quite playing at the level that he started out the season at. It maybe it should be expected from a rookie, but I was just a little disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. I was looking over some of the numbers, and definitely he had 4 rushing touchdowns in September, and he's had 0 cents. And if you look at most of his stats, his numbers are coming down. His completion in his wins, though, is 72.2, and his losses are 64%. And it's just, you can tell that these games that he's playing in, the last few games I've been checking into, his numbers have dropped considerably, noticeably, and his QB rating's gone down a little bit. And it's definitely like, I've been in this mode where it's like, oh, Jaden's playing fantastic. You almost forget to actually keep track of how he's actually playing. And now I do recall a couple weeks, I'm like, oh, he had a mediocre game. He had an okay game. The stats weren't there. And it seems like that's kind of what's happening. I don't know if it's because we're getting to that time of the year where these teams are going to mean business. These teams that they play that have playoff, are going to the playoffs or have playoff aspirations, they're not. It's not a game no more. Like, they're bringing what they got. People are getting healthy. People are coming back. Teams are starting to come together. And yeah, I mean, fantastic rookie season. It's starting good, but you could definitely see that it's starting to fade.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he had a bad game, but I was expecting some more fireworks out of him. I think he's only got 9 or 10 touchdowns on the year, which we're 11 weeks in. That's not very good numbers.
No.
But I mean, I guess you get blinded by the fact that Washington's winning. So I mean, you see the record, you see him not on there making the mistakes that a typical rookie quarterback makes, and you just assume that he's putting up gaudier numbers than what he really is. One person that is putting up gaudy numbers this season and could be putting up gaudier numbers is your homeboy, Saquon Barkley. And this guy, 146 yards rushing last night, 2 touchdowns. To be fair, Jalen Hurts steals touchdowns from him. All those 1-yard rushes, typically they go to the halfback. So, I mean, God knows how many of those rushing touchdowns that Jalen Hurts has should have been Saquon's. I mean, if you give him most of those rushing touchdowns, which are only from a yard out, and Saquon could have scored them just as easily as Jalen does, Saquon's probably your MVP of the season.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I mean, I looked at his numbers real quick, and he's like 150, a little bit over 150 yards away from besting his career year. I mean, he needs 3 touchdowns to tie his career season of touchdowns, which there's still 7 games left, and he looked phenomenal last night. He started off slow, but like the good teams do, they stick with the run. You got your star running back, and man, just watching them, it's like I just wish we could have put it together. But that's how you could tell the difference between the Eagles and the Giants organization. They get a guy like Saquon, and they use him in the proper way, and they put people around him that help him out too. And they have I think they got a better team. I mean, we'll just be real, but I just don't see the Giants having the drive like the Eagles do. The Eagles, they come together, they got good coaching, they got good leaders on their team, and they play their asses off. And this is going to be Saquon's best year, no doubt about it. And I think he's first. He's over Derrick Henry right now for rushing. Henry still has to play this weekend, so there is that, but he's going to be there. It's going to be between him and Henry at the end of the year for the rushing title. And I don't know, man. He's got 7 games left. He could, if he explodes or does something crazy, you could look at, he could steal the MVP from Lamar. No joke.
Yeah, I mean, if they start giving him the ball a little bit more than what they're giving Jalen, like I said, his rushing numbers and rushing touchdowns could be, what the hell? Trying to get a new logo designed for an entrance video for the channel, and this guy is going crazy on me. Leave me alone.
He's like, pay me, pay me.
Trying to make a show here. But anyway, yeah, his numbers could be real gaudy, and I'm not a big fan of the running back does all the work getting you down the field and the quarterback stealing the thunder. I'm not a big fan of that. I'd be hot if I was Saquon. Like, yo, hold up. Time out.
I will.
Down here.
I mean, I gotta agree. You know, the funny thing is this stats when in both of their losses, the Eagles, he had 0 touchdowns, and then I mean, now we got all wins since then, and there's touchdowns, baby. He's coming. Reverse hurdles, big games, multiple touchdown game. Like, he's looking good. And this Eagles offense is going to be something to come up against. That's for sure.
On the other side of the ball, the ageless Swan, Austin Eckler, man, Washington's finally figured out a way to use them, and they're using them in the passing game. 8 catches, 89 yards. Austin Eckler is just a joy to watch. I love watching him. He's just like this little bowling ball that scampers down the field. He reminds me of a midget, kind of like just scampering his legs, moving real fast, and he's just like this little ball of energy. But yeah, I want to give Austin Eckler a little shout out. Still doing his damn thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So with the win, the Eagles take the lead in that division, and I don't know if Washington's going to be able to overcome that. I mean, there is some weeks left of the season, but Philly's playing hot right now. Philly's playing really good ball, and they're turning it on at the right time.
I would have to agree with that. I'd have to agree totally. I mean, they looked really good, and Eagles QB or cornerback Kenyon Mitchell. I mean, he locked down McLaren last night, so I mean, there wasn't much going on there. Their defense is starting to come up. Like I said, Saquon in that offense, they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough. And I hate rooting for I hate rooting for teams in my division. But I do it.
That's why you got to be like me and hate them all.
Oh, goddamn Jets.
I hate them all.
I hate them all. Some more than others.
So let's take a look at some of these games for this weekend coming up, and let's do some picks.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man.
Shall we? To be honest, there's not a lot of games that tickle my fancy this weekend, if I do say so. There's only a couple real big games. I mean, I guess we can't be spoiled and have every week full of monster matchups. The monster matchup hour. But we'll go over the games that we feel are the major matchups of the week, and we'll do the matchup minute where we do our quick pick'ems of the games that, they're games. They're games, but they just don't pull your attention like the main ones.
Yeah.
What game would you like to start with there, cousin?
Why don't we just get right to it? Let's go right into Baltimore-Pittsburgh.
Ooh. Now, is this game in Baltimore or is it in Pittsburgh? Do you know?
I believe it's Pittsburgh. I believe. Yep.
They're in Pittsburgh. Oh, I like Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore usually does have a tough time with Pittsburgh. it's like Pittsburgh's the big brother. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I just think Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, they're just so good, man. They're just so good. And I do feel like Lamar's the MVP of the league right now. I mean, give Pittsburgh their props. Russell Wilson's playing really good ball. This defense playing out of control. Najee Harris is playing good. Uh, George Pickens is playing good football. They're just playing good football all around. But I got to go with Baltimore. I just feel like Baltimore might be the best team in the AFC. That's in my opinion. And that's over KC. I know KC's still undefeated. I know Buffalo has looked good. Pittsburgh's looked good, but if I had to put my money on a team to make it to the Super Bowl, I'm going Baltimore.
Okay. I'm gonna go the opposite direction this week. You know, I've given Lamar and them Ravens their props, and they're good. They're very, very good. But on the other end of that, Pittsburgh looks pretty decent too, and I've been picking them. I've been kind of rooting for them. They're on a 3-game stretch with Russ coming in, and they picked up that Williams and with what's his name on the other side? Pickett. Yeah,
Oh man, I forget who's the defender they picked up. What? Yeah, Mike. What they picked up Mike Williams and then
yeah, and I just
the
the
player.
Baltimore Ravens are in close games. They're in close games pretty consistently, and they could go either way. And you know what? I think Pittsburgh is catching I think they're catching a little bit of a vibe, a feel, and they're looking pretty good. I'm going to take Pittsburgh this week. I have faith in Russ and you know what they're doing. I mean, they got the 4th-ranked defense, so that's going to help out. I know the Ravens are first in offense, passing, rushing, but you know, sometimes it's not all about the numbers. Sometimes it's about the matchup. You're going into Pittsburgh, got them terrible towels flying. I think they're going to be pumped up. I'm going to take the Steelers. They're not. It's going to be close. I'm thinking like 23, 24 to 20, something in there. It's going to be less than a touchdown, but I think that Pittsburgh comes in here, or Pittsburgh comes in there and they come visit, the Ravens come visit them, and I think Pittsburgh and Russ and this offense come out with the dub. I really do.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the complete opposite. 24-20 Ravens.
Okay.
Derrick Henry runs wild on the Steelers.
Ooh. I got 24-20 Pittsburgh. All right. Let's see. What's next? How about we go into, it's not really the greatest game, but they're close. So let's go Seattle and San Fran.
Seattle and San Fran. Seattle's been up and down all season. Connor Williams, their center, just announced his retirement today out of the blue, which was kind of weird. He played a crucial role in the Miami Dolphins offensive line the last few years. He ended up hurting himself at the end of the year, and to be honest, I'm surprised he made it back for the beginning of the season. Things must not have been going too well in Seattle, and he announced his retirement today. He's still fairly young. He's not an old guy, so that was kind of surprising. San Francisco hasn't been playing up to the level that we're used to seeing the San Francisco 49ers play under Kyle Shanahan this year. Christian McCaffrey's been out the whole year. He returned last week. He had a Christian McCaffrey game. A little bit of everything. I mean, he rushed for a decent amount of yards, caught a couple passes for a decent amount of yards. I mean, he's just a Swiss Army knife, and he's only going to get better. I think this team's going to start picking it up. They know that the playoffs are coming, and right now they're not in the driver's seat like they usually are. So I think San Francisco turns it on the second half of the season, and I think they handle Seattle this week. I like San Francisco 27-17.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. Obviously, we've talked about Seattle and their inconsistencies, and Gino's not a bad quarterback. He's actually
He is.
He's not terrible. He's bad for you because he loses you money. But if you stack him up with Brock Purdy, they're pretty close. Except Brock Purdy's got him edged out with less interceptions, so he plays cleaner games. San Francisco, like you said, has McCaffrey coming back for a second week. Hopefully last game he settled in. Kittle's been just tearing it up. I think he's got almost 600 yards and 7 touchdowns this season. The only area where the Seahawks better them is passing, and it's not by much. I think they're sitting at 4th, and San Fran's at 6th. I'd have to agree. I think San Fran's going to start coming on. McCaffrey's going to start really coming on, and Kittle's already playing good. So once they get that rolling, this is going to be another one of those teams, and I'm picking San Fran. I don't know. I didn't come up with a score for this one. I was tough with this one because I know that Seattle can put up some points, but I know San Fran can put up some points. I'm going to go 30-24 San Fran.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if they were playing Seattle, I'd give them more of a shot. That 12th man is something serious. But they got to go down to San Francisco, and
exactly.
San Francisco is going to look more like the team that we're used to seeing for the rest of the season.
Okay. Well, on that note, I think we'll talk. Well, what's that? Why don't we get into? I mean, it's gonna be the game of the week. The Monday night game's trash. It's Houston and Dallas. I'm not really interested, but the game to talk about this week is Kansas City at Buffalo. Perfect 9-0 KC up against Buffalo 8-2. Looks like Buffalo's starting to come on. Like you said, KC and Mahomes, they like to play down to opponents. So what is your take on this one? What do you think? You think KC is going to come in to Buffalo and take them out, or you think Josh Allen's just going to have a game?
Well, I know I sound like a broken record, but I repeatedly say that Kansas City plays down the competition. Now, maybe it doesn't apply that much this week because Buffalo is another top team, but Buffalo's missing a lot of weapons, expect their offensive weapons. I'm pretty sure Dalton Kincaid's going to be out for this week. I don't think Amari Cooper's playing again.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The rookie receiver they got over there, what the hell's his name? I think he's out again. So he's very limited with his weapons. I mean, he's got Shakur, which is his leading receiver. They got James Cook still, but I mean, his main weapons are gone. So you would think that would give the edge to Kansas City, but the thing is, Kansas City, they don't play Buffalo too good in the regular season,
right?
And like I said, I just don't think Kansas City gets up for the game like that,
right?
And I'll continue to repeat myself. These Kansas City Chiefs have played in so many huge games for multiple championships, multiple games to get to the championship, that a regular season matchup, it doesn't mean the same for them as it does for Buffalo.
Right.
Excuse me. Hey, I'm in the middle of my podcast right now. I don't. I just got some new ones, more new ones.
Yeah, just you guys out there. I mean, just the last meeting between Buffalo and Kansas City. Buffalo won 2017. That was December of the 23 season.
So, sorry about that, folks.
There we go. All right.
Yeah, but anyway, they don't get up for the games, and it doesn't mean as much to Kansas City as it does Buffalo. Buffalo, anytime they play Kansas City, whether it's preseason, regular season, it's their biggest game. You know what I mean? They get up for it because Kansas City has brought them so much despair. You know what I mean?
Right.
So to Josh Allen, this is like, I got to get him back. I got to. Like, this Buffalo Bills squad they remember how it feels for Kansas City to continuously sun them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they get this chip on their shoulder. It angers them, and they know what it's like to watch Kansas City celebrate AFC championship games, and while they're sitting there at the worst moment of their professional careers and watch while they're celebrating. So, Josh Allen's been playing this game, thinking about this game all season. Whereas Pat Mahomes is like, oh, I forgot we played Buffalo this week. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not a big deal. So, because of that, I got the Buffalo Bills winning this game. I got them handing Kansas City their first loss. Do I think Buffalo's a better team? No, I don't. I think the Buffalo Bills absolutely suck. Now, I mean, Buffalo's a good team. Kansas City's a great team. And Buffalo will win this game. They'll get cocky. They'll feel themselves like they do every time they beat Kansas City during the regular season. And then
Right.
they'll meet up in the playoffs, and Buffalo will find out why Josh Allen isn't Pat Mahomes, why they're not as good as the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Kansas City Chiefs will send them home once again. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Kansas City's got the second-rate defense in the league, so I mean they're going to give them trouble. Buffalo's missing, like you said, they're missing some players, and I was on the fence about that. I was going to pick KC, but I mean they're going into Buffalo. Josh Allen he's having a fantastic year as usual. I think he's got more yards than Mahomes. He's got more touchdowns, less picks. So, I mean, all in all, Josh Allen is having a better season statistically. I picked Buffalo in this too. And like we just talked about on the last stream, I said that I bought into Kansas City can go perfect. And I said Kansas City can go perfect, but they got to get past the Buffalo Bills. And like you said, the Kansas City Chiefs are probably looking at this as it's a game. It is what it is. It's not going to hurt them one way or the other, really. And Buffalo's going to, Josh Allen and that Buffalo's crew is going to want to come out there and give the defending champs their first loss of the season. So even though I buy into Kansas City could go perfect, I got Buffalo, and that was the one stipulation I said that would ruin that for me. So Buffalo, I got 21-20 over the Kansas City Chiefs. First loss. Yes, sir.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I didn't feel that Kansas City can go undefeated because they don't take the regular season as serious. And I can understand it. Like, I mean, if you play in so many big games, a game like the regular season isn't. I just feel like I don't know. They just, it doesn't mean as much. That's all.
Yeah,
it means way more for Buffalo.
They know that when they get to the playoffs, it's time to turn it on, and it's a different ball game with Kansas City as to where most other teams are just like they're just trying to get there. Man, these guys are repeating Super Bowl champions. They're so used to it. So these other teams are fighting for it. They want it more. And I think that's what it comes down to is the hunger. And of course, KC's hungry, but it's not as important right now. But once we hit them playoffs, baby, it's a different story.
Yeah, I got to take a break for 1 second. Mike, why don't you talk a little bit about what you hope the Giants do at the quarterback position when you come back from the I seen that they weren't sure if they were gonna sit him down completely yet.
Well, I definitely don't want to see Jones take another step. I don't think it is in the best interest of the Giants. What we need to do is we need to sit him down. We need to give Drew Lock some time in there, see what happens. I'm not expecting much from Drew Lock. He hasn't really shown me anything to be excited about, so it's kind of But, our season's over as it is, so we go in, do the best that we can. No tanking, play real football to the best of our ability, and it's not going to be that hard. I mean, Jones he's okay when he plays okay, but that's few and far between. So, who knows? Maybe Drew Luck comes in there and gives us a little bit of excitement, even though our season's over. Maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of maybes with this team. They are on a bye. They come out and they play Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay I think they're supposed to get Mike Evans back. But I don't even know. I don't even know what to do with Jones. Jones just needs to sit. We need to get us a new quarterback. We need to get in the draft, get us a quarterback. Maybe I'd like to see us pick up some offensive linemen or some corners. Let's try to produce and grow some potentially good corners because we need some secondary players. But yeah, I mean, that's what this offseason, offensive line, secondary, quarterback. That's our top three. I mean, obviously quarterback is number one, but we need to address the O-line. I say it every year. I talk about it every year. Every time I get in football talks with friends or fellow fans or other opposing fans, it's always the same thing. The Giants need an O-line. And like I said, that's the difference between Saquon in Philly and Saquon in New York, is they got a decent O-line. And it really does make a difference when you got blockers that are able to get off their first block, get to the second level, and create that seam, create that crease for the running back. And our offensive line is just not there. Like once in a while we get some good blocks or there's a breakdown in our defense. So priority number one, don't let Jones get hurt so we're not forced to pay him more money. We release him. We take the $22 million hit, but then it gives us 19 to play with. We find us a decent quarterback, maybe try to plug in one or two potentially decent offensive linemen, and try to get out there and maybe pick up a couple corners, somebody we can have that even if he's not a lockdown corner, he does really well. Just somebody who can hang with some of these top tier receivers and, help this defense. Cause our defense is good. We got Sexy Dexy in the middle. Who knows what's going to happen there? Like we got a lot of questions. We need to keep it up. We need to keep up good run D, but then we get beat in the pass. We play a lot of zone. And teams just find it easy to find the holes against us. I don't know why they do, but it just seems like the Giants can't cover the holes. There's always a gap, and they play zone, and they eat us up little by little. And I think we need to start getting after the quarterback more. Like that's why I liked when we had Steve Spagnuolo. Like he was just like he's aggressive. He's like go get him. So we need to be more aggressive on defense. We need to stop playing so much zone. We play a lot of man zone, and then we don't go after the quarterback, and it really slows us down. But at the end of the day, number one, we need to pick up a QB. I'd like to see an offensive lineman or two and at least one corner. I think that's our priority for the next season. sit Jones down. Our season's over. There's no reason to even risk it with Jones getting hurt, and dump him, get our 22, pay him his 22 mil and take the 19 mil and try to do something, because we have decent players that it just don't make sense to blow everything up and start from scratch. I mean, we got Sexy Dexy, we got Malik Neighbors, we have decent building, but Tracy's starting to look really good, and if we can address that O-line, I think Tracy's going to look even better next year. So that's what I would focus on. I just think if they play Jones, I probably won't watch another Giants game this year regardless. The Giants front office and the decisions that are made when it comes to quarterbacks and not working on the O-line the right way, it always irritates me. Always has, probably always will. Some things just never change. And
you got to continue to watch the Giants games. That gives you an opportunity. Maybe you don't care about. You obviously know that they're not going to win a lot of games, so you pay attention to the positions and the players that are a problem for your team that need to be replaced.
Right.
And you can start looking towards the draft and looking at the players that could come in and help your team win.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll go a little too far saying I'm not going to watch. I'm always going to pay attention. They're the Giants. Just like if the Finns are out of it, you're going to pay attention to see if they won or lost. You're probably going to watch the game. I mean,
I've watched my team win one game, and I watched every play of that season.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm the same way. Maybe I'm just being a little dramatic. It's just, man, it's tough. It's tough watching. It's tough watching them do this same repeated shit over and over again. But anyway, I'm done with that. Let's move on. I think we're getting close to our, what is it, matchup minute or?
Yeah, the minute matchup. I'd like to get a little bit Atlanta, Denver, maybe a little bit more, and the Cincinnati and the Chargers game, because that has pretty big playoff implications for the AFC. As far as the Atlanta-Denver game, Denver's got an elite defense. They almost upset Kansas City last week. They got Atlanta coming in. Atlanta is one of those teams that you can't trust. They look phenomenal some weeks. Kirk Cousins comes out and puts on performances. Robinson's a very good running back. They got a bunch of receiving weapons. They got Kyle Pitts, who they misuse Kyle Pitts. He's such a advantage against linebackers. Linebackers can't keep up with him. Defensive backs are too small, but they fail to use him in the correct way. But Atlanta is one of them teams that, like against New Orleans, they should have blew New Orleans out. And 9 out of 10 times they would. But they're that team that will get their ass smacked by New Orleans at the same time. And it don't make no sense. Atlanta's going to win that division by default because Baker don't have no weapons. I truly believe that if Chris Godwin and Mike Evans would have stayed healthy, Tampa Bay would be winning that division. So they got a free gift, a free pass. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. They're getting to go to the playoffs for free. And I could see them winning a playoff game. I could see them winning 2 playoff games. But just when you feel confident that your team's good, Atlanta will let you down. Denver's got a killer defense. Because Atlanta looked like crap last week against New Orleans, I wouldn't be surprised if they came in and beat Denver by 2 scores. So I like Atlanta in this game, even though Denver's got a elite defense.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, Falcons' offense is ranked 4th to Denver's 19th. Defense can win you games, but the fact is Kirk Cousins got 17 touchdowns, only 8 picks this year. He's putting up good numbers, 2,600 passing yards, 68.2% completion rating. Yeah, big deal. We question how consistent they're going to be, but the fact is they can still put numbers up. And I think the Denver Broncos will slow them down a little bit, but I don't know. You can't expect a team that got beat by the Saints to come out there and not have a little bit of hunger under them. So I got Atlanta in this too. I just think Atlanta's offense is just too much for Denver. I know a lot of people are actually saying there's a higher probability Denver's going to win, but let's roll the dice one more time. I'm going to go Atlanta on this too.
Oh, your boy Manny. Manny, are you a Giants fan? Atlanta was the team that got Usi Umenyiora his only career interception.
Yo, man, I love OC. Love OC. See, that's when we had leaders. That's when we had guys on our team that just helped shape everybody, and they just played together, and we had a good defense too. So, I don't like.
Did OC play with Atlanta after he left New York?
I don't know. I didn't follow him after he left New York. I really didn't. I stopped watching football, and after a couple bad years after the Super Bowl, I actually took a little football hiatus. So I'm not 100%.
I'm a Bears fan. I'm a Bears fan. I just saw the Giants fan. OC was a beast. Yeah, he definitely was. And he said, yeah, he did play 2 years in Atlanta. I thought he did play in Atlanta. Yeah. Maybe he got his interception for Atlanta then. Not against them.
Maybe.
He had his better years in Atlanta. The Giants are definitely beasts. Hey, Manny, what do you think about your Chicago Bears? Because I'm high on Caleb Williams, but he's let me down the last few weeks, bro.
No, he's been slacking a little bit.
He started off slow, and then he was really coming on strong, and I thought, hey, that's the Caleb Williams that we all expected. And, man, they're talking about benching the kid, which would be stupid as all hell. But I like the Bears that had made the playoffs this year, and they haven't been playing up the par.
Yeah, he's got 0 touchdowns in the last 3 games, quarterback rating somewhere in the 60s. He's got a 120-yard game, 131-yard game in the last 3 games. Yeah, he's definitely in a little bit of a slump. I'd have to agree with that.
He's caught me on my draft games. He's caught me slacking.
No, Gino. Oh wait, that's a different guy that catches you.
There's a couple people that have let me down.
Yeah, I feel you.
Thank you, Manny, for the comments. Yeah, let us know what you think of your Chicago Bears, though, and the nosedive they have taken in the last few weeks. And then I want to check in with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Chargers.
Ooh.
The Chargers sit at 6-3, firmly in the 6th position in the wild card spot. I had made a comment yesterday on TD Fins Talk that I thought the Chargers were going to end up missing the playoffs. Denver and the Chargers were going to end up missing the playoffs. Someone just called me a fanboy in the comments and was like, "What are you talking about? There's no way that they lose out. You don't know what you're talking about. You just want them to lose. They got an easy schedule coming up." And I commented back and I was like, bro, like, what are you talking about? I was like, they play Tampa, Atlanta, Cincinnati, the Chiefs, and there was another really tough team in there. Who was it? Regardless, there was another tough team, and I was like, you can't see them losing 3 of those games. Like, are you serious? You can't see them losing 6, 7 games? I can see them losing all 5 of the games. So I don't think these Chargers are safe. The Chargers have been playing excellent defense under Jim Harbaugh. He's done a fantastic job. But I don't know if they got the weapons on the offensive side of the ball to really be a contender. And we know Cincy's defenses and all that, but Cincy sure can put up the points.
Yeah.
And if I had the bet, I'm going to bet on. I think T. Higgins is going to play this week. That makes Jamar Chase extra dangerous. If I had to bet between Cincinnati's offense and the Chargers defense, I'm going Cincy's offense. So I like Cincinnati to hand the Chargers a loss and get that playoff picture in the AFC even more cloudy.
Yeah, I think that's the way I'm leaning on this too. Chargers, like you said, their defense is good, but they're ranked pretty low in the offense, passing and rushing. So you're not just going to win the game with the third best defense, especially with Joe Burrow has 24 touchdowns, over 2,600 yards, like only 4 picks. So he takes care of the ball, as does Herbert, but Herbert's only sitting there with 11 TDs. So I just think the offensive noise coming from the Bengals is just going to be a little too much for the Chargers this week. I think it's still going to be a pretty decent game. I think maybe they win by a touchdown, but I got the Bengals in this one as well. Let's see how many.
The Chargers are a point and a half favorites, but like I said, I mean, the way Jamar Chase played last week, and they know what's at stake, and I feel like they're going to come all out. And with T. Higgins back, that just adds another element. And T. Higgins is like a 1B over there, so he's another great receiver.
Yep. I have to agree.
All right, it's time for the matchup minute, where we rapidly pick through the rest of the games that nobody really cares about unless you're a fan.
Maybe we should start with Manny's team. Since he
you can start out with Manny's team.
Since he was nice enough to leave us a comment.
It's not like I'm the host and we can start with my team, but yeah, let's go with Manny.
Why don't we close out with your team? That way you can talk a little more, because we all know once you start talking, you get all teary-eyed and sad, and it takes a minute for you to calm down. So why don't we hit your team last? That way we can feel better. All right. Yeah. So let's go 6-3 Green Bay at 4-5 Chicago.
I'll take the Packers by a touchdown.
And I'm going to take the Packers by 10.
Nice.
Just because of inconsistencies in Chicago. 4-6 Indy at the 3-7, your lovable New York Jets.
Oh my God, I hate it. Oh, I take the Jets. Oh my God.
Oh my God. What is going on?
Oh my God.
This will be the last time I pick the Jets. The last time, mark my word, this season, not forever, but this season, this is the last time I pick the Jets. But I will pick the Jets. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets got embarrassed last week. Looked absolutely disgusting. Waste of air time, waste of camera time, waste of fans' time. Just a pitiful game. Yeah, this is supposed to be a matchup. We'll move on. Jacksonville at Detroit. I mean, let's go.
I'm taking Jacksonville.
I'm marking it now. No,
no, that don't count.
I got that don't count. Okay.
I'm taking Detroit by 30.
Oh, damn.
Trevor Lawrence is out.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I got Detroit too. I'm not going to say by 30, but Detroit definitely. Las Vegas. Oh no, we're doing that last. Los Angeles Rams, the 4-5 at Pats, 3-7.
I'm gonna take. Oh my goodness! I'm gonna take the Rams.
Okay.
By a field goal.
And I got some ground to make up, so I'm going to take the Pats by a field goal.
I wanted to take the Pats. I did. I don't know why.
They've been playing a little better. I mean, They're
Yeah,
not great.
I can't pay. If I picked the Pats, I'd be picking every AFC team to win, AFC East team to win. That's not like me.
Yeah, you can't you can't do that. We can't have that. So you're going with the Rams.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rams.
The 2-7 Browns against the 3-7 Saints.
Oh, this is a toilet ball game if you ever seen one. I'm gonna go with the Saints just because they're at home.
Yeah. Okay. I got the Saints as well. I do. Minnesota 7-2 at Tennessee 2-7.
I'm gonna take Minnesota. Sam Darnold's play has came down quite a bit though since the beginning of the season. I do.
I'm a little concerned about the Minnesota Vikings. I am a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that you could be concerned of a 7-2 team, but
it happens. You asked me if they could end up on the bottom, and I was like, at first I didn't understand what you meant because I didn't realize how close everybody was. But we got 7 games left roughly, unless they've been on a bye week, and
yeah,
a lot of stuff can happen in 7 games. So let's see if they can turn that around a little bit. All right, looks like let's do our Monday night game. Houston 6-4, Dallas 3-6. I'm taking Houston.
Yeah, I'm taking Houston too. Dallas is just a hot mess right now. Mike McCarthy's on his last legs. He'll be fired at the end of the season if he makes it that long. Dak Prescott's probably done for the season. There's a lot of issues, a lot of problems out in Dallas. They have salary cap issues. Micah Parsons still needs to be signed. There's just a lot of issues in Dallas.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that dumpster fire. Yeah, I can't even be mad though because I love when Dallas does terrible. I like seeing Jerry Jones get frustrated because he's one of the most televised owner in the whole league. So it's always nice to see the old man get upset. I'm a Giants fan, so Dallas is like our arch enemy, and yeah, I'm actually can't say that I feel bad. I feel about Dallas about what you feel for the Jets. So. F the Dallas Cowboys. Let their cheerleaders play. Maybe they'll get another win this season.
Yeah.
Last but definitely not least, I'm going to shoot the Las Vegas Raider 2-7 to the Miami 3-6. Over to you, host Mr. Big C. Let us have your opinion on this.
Well, I'm not going to go too much in depth. If you want to see the in-depth version of this game pick, you check out the Finn Potsy podcast. Well, anyway, I got Miami winning. I think Miami's going to go on a mini run here. We have some real winnable games. This team's not as bad as the record shows. We were missing our quarterback for 4 or 5 games. Oakland's terrible on both sides of the ball. Well, I mean, their defense isn't terrible, but their offense is absolutely terrible. I got Miami by a couple field goals, 6. I'm going to say 31. What's 31 minus 25? 31-25? 31-24. I got my touchdown.
All right. I'm not even going to touch this. That's your team. I'm going Miami as well. I think they have a chance. I think, like you said, they have manageable games. They could definitely sneak in. So yeah, I'm not going to touch it. Miami as well. And I think we are all caught up.
Yes, sir. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Leave your picks for the Tyson and Paul fight in the comments too, if you see this before the fight takes place. Make sure you join us Monday at 7 for another episode of the Blitz, episode 21, brought to you by the Game Changers. And
that's right.
Like, subscribe, comment, share.
That's right. Listen to our host. Thanks for kicking it with us on this Friday pick'em Jesus, look at me. I can't even. It's been one of those days, people. I hit a deer this morning. Smashed up the whole front end of my car. I just can't get my thoughts together today. It's been a rough day. Let's try this again. Thanks for kicking it with us on the Blitz, brought to you by Game Changers Media. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, show some love. We could use it. I appreciate every one of you. Thanks, Manny, for stopping by and giving us someone to chat with for a few minutes. We love you. We'll see you Friday, or we'll see you Monday. Sorry, 7.
Yeah, we'll see you Monday. Howdy. Peace out. Fins up. Whoa.